Hi everyone, so in this new series of tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can create a 2D Metroidvania game in C# using Godot engine. This course has been made possible by all the persons that have bought my courses on Udemy. I have 3 courses. I have one that is oriented on making a 2D platformer / Metroidvania with JavaScript, another one that is making a 2D RPG with JavaScript, and the third one that I've just released like 1-2 weeks ago that is about creating a 2D RPG in C#. And because of all of those people, this course is available for this channel for everyone. So just like thanks to all of those people. Why using C#? C# is a great language that you can use for making game, but you can also use it for making other projects. You can make software with it, you can do a lot of things. And you can do that inside or outside of Godot. And that's one of the main reasons for me to use C#, because using C# is making it way easier when you are using Godot to port your game on console, for example, because you can either like use a framework, you can create your own tool for, like, for example, translating your C# code Godot into like a project like Monogame, for example, which is a framework that uses C# and that can port a game on console. But you can also use Unity, and you can also translate your game like this. Now that all of this has been said, let's dive in. So the first thing we need to do is we need to configure Godot. So for configuring Godot, we need to have the good version of Godot. So you go here on the Godot website and you go into download, and then into download, you're gonna download the mono version, whatever it is, 64 byte or 32 byte, depending what your system is. Me, I have the 64 bytes, so that's the one I am using. And once you have done that, you need also to use Visual Studio Code. You download here and you download Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio is very, very important to have. Like you can use other software like JetBrains. You can use also like Visual Studio, but I really, really, really recommend Visual Studio Code for Godot because that's the one that works the best. That is the simpler to install, and it works the same on all platforms. Whatever it is, macOS, Windows, and I think Linux. Linux is, I don't know because I don't have Linux, but I think it works almost the same. After that you have downloaded all of this, we're just gonna go into Godot, and here we're gonna create a new project. So I'm gonna click on new project, and here I'm gonna call it JD/Metroidvania. I'm gonna put it into my desktop because I like to do that. Select this folder, I'm gonna create the folder, and I'm gonna use OpenGL ES 3.0. So I'm gonna click on create and edit. And now I have my Godot project open. So I'm gonna go into first like 2D scene. I'm gonna click here on 2D scene. If you are new to Godot, I'm gonna explain you a little bit what we have here. So at the top, we can choose if we want to use the 2D interface or the 3D interface, because Godot has a built-in 2D specific interface for dealing with everything 2D, which is very, very handy. Here to the left, we have our scene and our import tab, which are like basically here we're going to have all of our nodes or game objects or prefab, depending where you're coming from. Everything going to be here, and everything that will be here will be displayed right here. Here we have the file system, so this is where everything that we use into our game right here is located. Everything is right here, and to the right we have the inspector, which is very similar to what you have in Unity, for example. And here we have a node tab, which are signal and our group. This is specific to Godot, and I will explain you later on what it does, but this is very, very handy. So now that we have done that, what we need to do is first we need to go to the editor, and into the editor we go to editor setting, and we scroll down until here in mono category you go to editor, and here we're going to use Visual Studio Code. Like this is the one that you can use, Visual Studio, Mono Develop, JetBrains Rider, but me I really, really recommend you to use Visual Studio Code. We're going to close it. Now we're going to take a look at Visual Studio Code. So when you want to do a C# code with Visual Studio Code, you need to have two things. So you need to click first on that icon here, extension, here, and then me, I've already installed a lot of stuff. And the two main packages that you want is this one, C# from Microsoft. So you download really this one. That's the one that is the, the most downloaded anyway. So it's very easy to see. And this one gonna install C# for Visual Studio Code on your machine. Once you have installed it, you need to look for this one, C# tools for Godot. This one gonna give you a lot of things. It's gonna give you like IntelliSense, which is like basically a way for like the Visual Studio Code to suggest to you what function you want to use. This kind of thing is extremely handy. So I really recommend you to use it because it's like make the experience way more like better. And so once you have that, you have everything set up. And so now we're gonna create a script. So here I'm gonna just attach a script. I'm gonna rename that scene level, and I'm gonna create a script. And here you can see that when you click on that icon, you have that sort of like menu that pops up. And here language, you have GD script. This is not what we want because we want to use C#. So we need to go here and we need to click on C#. Then here it's going to inherit our Node2D because Node2D is a class of object that has a specific pre-coded element, let's say. And so we're going to use that. And we're going to just change the path right here. That path, I'm going to just click on the icon that you've seen. And here I'm just going to click on create folder, and I'm going to create a script folder. And I'm going to save my script right here. I'm going to click on open and then create. You can see generate a solution, and it's gonna open Godot. Me, I already have a C#, Godot, and VS Code installed on my laptop, so like everything works already for me. But sometimes, if it's for you, it doesn't work. You just need, after you choose VS Code, you need to close Godot and close VS Code, and then reopen them, and then it will solve your problems. Because sometimes, like Godot, just need to recompile, and that's it. So just so you know. So now that we are here in our code, we can now see if everything works well. So here, for example, I can do something. I can do like a print, but you're gonna see that print doesn't work, like it's not recognized. And this is because we're using C#. And there's two workarounds for that. The first one is like you can tap gd.print, and then here between parentheses and quote, you can tap something. Hello, everyone. Or you can do something else. You need to close with a semicolon. Every line in C# needs to be closed by a semicolon. So if you have only used GDScript before, that's something that you need to remember. But here, tapping every time gd.print is quite cumbersome. And there's a better way to avoid that. So I'm going to remove .gd, and I'm going to come here. And at the top, I'm going to use what we are calling a namespace. A namespace is a class that is using a certain functionality. And so, for example, here you can see that we are using the namespace Godot, and we are using the namespace system. And so Godot is using the tool of Godot, and system using the tool of system. And that's why we can code in Godot like normally. And so here what we can do is like we're going to type using static Godot.gd. And we're gonna close it with a semicolon. And now you can see that here, the print error that we have has disappeared. And so this is very handy to do because like there's lots of functions that are not automatically translated into C# with Godot. Lots, not that many, but like there is some, like print, for example. And like tapping GD every time is like it's a bit cumbersome. This is way much better in my opinion. So now we can just save that. And there's one thing that we can do. So we can come here into Godot, and we can launch our scene. But for that, we need to first save our scene. So for that, we're going to create a folder. I'm going to call it scene, and I'm going to save that folder, save that node inside that folder. Now you can see that it launched the game, and you can see that we have a window that is displayed. Okay, perfect. And you can see here that we have hello everyone. So our code is fetched. Everything works well. But there's one problem that is extremely important for you to understand before we move to something else. In Godot, there is things like, for example, signal that I'm going to just click here. If you want here to create a custom signal, you need to be able to recompile the game, not from Godot, but from VS Code. So you click here on run and debug, and here you have run and debug and create a launch JSON file. You click on create a launch JSON file, and you're going to look for C# Godot, and it's going to create a launch JSON, and this is going to be helping us to launch or recompile our game directly through VS Code. And so when you are using things like custom signal, for example, in Godot. This is where everything got very handy. So for now, for example, I can click here. You can see that I have that little icon that pops here, and here you're gonna see that I'm gonna have a window that's gonna be displayed. Of course. Here I need to select current one, select current, and now it's launched. And this, we have launched that through VS Code. So I'm just gonna close it, and I'm gonna reopen it just to show you. Come here, and now you're gonna see it's gonna launch. The window is right here. So that's perfect. So now we have Godot and VS Code that are set up to work with C#, and we can move on to the next video where we're gonna start to create our first game object. So that's it for this video. I hope it has been helpful for you. If it's the case, don't hesitate to give a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel. You can also see my other social media like my Twitter, like my Instagram, or my Udemy courses. All the links are in the descriptions. I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you!